Welcome to another episode of Pod for Good, a podcast where we interview people in Tulsa who are doing good. I'm trying out a new tagline, Chris.
Thanks for the warning.
As always, I'm your chief philanthropod, Jesse Ulrich.
And I am your mostly Vice Admiral philanthropod, Chris Miller.
And today, our guest is Obum Ukabam, who is involved in so many things. I'm going to list all of them. He is a graduate of the Black Upstart Entrepreneur Incubator, Philanthropic OK Spring 2019 Cohort, Leadership Tulsa New Voices 11, PCAT 2020 Fellow, the 2020 Booz Allen Innovation Fund Grant winner, The Zone Youth Esports Facilitator, Show Me Your Shoes Foundation Board of Directors, 100 Black Men member, Urban Course Guild User Group, CAP Tulsa Client Service Committee, Theater Tulsa Board Member, Opportunity Tulsa Vice Chair, North Tulsa Debate Classic Program Manager, Greenwood Leadership Academy, Village Ambassador, FC Tulsa and the Dream Center North Tulsa Soccer League Program Assistant, and published author of Interrogating the Myth of the ISM, an analysis of dominant and subdominant culturally linked perceptions and engendered motivations for continued participation in intercollegiate competitive debate.
We talked to Obum about the North Tulsa Debate League, how to make a difference in Tulsa without making an ass of yourself, and Holberton, I guess.
Enjoy. We are very excited to have Obum on the podcast today. Obum, welcome to the podcast. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
Are you still hurting from losing the Boomtown Award to Dr. Bruce Dart?
Yeah, I was very surprised I would lose to him. You know,
what has he done
really hurt.
at all?
I mean, I just found out who he was that day. No, of course not. That's who I expected to win, and I really wanted. I would have felt a little uncomfortable, to be honest, if I did win over him. You know.
Yeah.
So it was just an honor to be in that ilk, though. But
I've heard they're actually going to rename the award after him.
It should, because right now, you know, my nickname growing up was Boom.
Ah.
So, yeah.
There you go. Again, any other year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You know,
2020 strikes again.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was just honored to be. I know people say that's cliche, but it really was. I just felt great to be even nominated and be in the category with those organizations and the people. Like, it just felt great to, you know, the hard work that you do to be noticed and, you know, and bring light to other things that we're doing. So, yeah, it was just an honor.
And I don't mean to brag, but I actually won a Boomtown Award.
Did you?
I was a Typro's intern of the year back in like 2014 or something. So pretty prestigious.
You know,
so that means 2/3 of the people on this podcast have been at least nominated for a Boomtown Award.
That's fair.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And one of us almost nominated themselves. Almost.
Really?
I decided against it last moment.
Go for it.
So, okay, for our listeners, Obum is involved in many, many things in town. So we're not going to cover all of them. We're going to cover some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we might briefly talk about his actual day job, but they don't need extra attention. So, but let's talk about the thing that, like, I wish I would have done in school and did not. Let's talk about the North Tulsa Debate Classic that you do. So tell us, like, was this something that you found once you moved here? Was it something you were always interested in?
Yeah, so I debated in college. It was the first time I debated. They found me in the speech class, one of the team members, and he told me I should join the team, right? And it was actually a really good team, and we won national championships, and I got to go overseas and compete in the European Cup, and we won that. So I got introduced to debate in college. We were very successful at it, and then years later, you know, I just fell off from doing debate because there wasn't any debate opportunities, right? As you go into the career force, And coming to Tulsa, I ended up meeting with a guy named Justin Daniels. He was looking for people to volunteer to help judge debate. And I said, hey, you know what? Where else can you use me besides judging? I definitely want to judge, but you know, I used to debate. Where can I help our kids learn the skill? And he threw me right in. If it wasn't for Justin, I wouldn't have gotten attached to Tulsa Debate League. And Justin actually is the one who's been working on debate with the kids in North Tulsa for years. And we were discussing an event he was putting on, the North Tulsa showcase. So I said, you know, let's put our heads together and come up with something another way of doing this, right? I just want to bring because I have, I feel like I'm really creative, right? So I just wanted to say, hey, this is something I love. I want to bring my best ideas to you. So me and him sat down, we hashed out a good a plan, and we came up with the North Coast Debate Classic, and it was a success. It was a great event where we had the kids debate against the community members. So we had people from organizations like Kojo and Onika, the Met Cares Foundation, the Black Women Business Owners of America, the 100 Black Men, we had the Flower Society. We had, all kinds of people just debating the kids. So it was like kids versus the adults, and it was hilarious, and it was very inspiring, and very, very. I was very proud of them. We were very proud of them.
What age groups for the kids are we talking?
Yeah,
here?
we did elementary through high school, and so we had elementary kids debating things like, should there be chores? Should kids get paid for chores? Or should homework be banned? Or are video games bad for you? And it got into real, it was Kojo's debate, Kojo and Nika versus the high school kid on video games. That's a classic. We have it recorded somewhere, but we need to put that back out. But they were going at it. You hear me? Like they were like talking about, the kid was hanging with them, and then he didn't know after he was done. This was like last December, and I let him know. I said, this guy just announced that he's running for Congress, and his face dropped like, wow. I was like, you're going to be debating a future congressman, or, he's running for Congress. He was very proud of himself, but he didn't know, and they were going toe to toe. Let me tell you, Kojo remembers.
Was Kojo anti-video games?
He, in this case,
was Kojo arguing for?
He had to argue against it. And they were talking about everything from just what dopamine means to your brain. They were going at it. And Kojo, I believe they won. They won the debate because we told our judges to be real. We want all our students to have honest feedback, and they want to get better. So Kojo, they won that debate, but that kid, he was hanging with them. Because he had last minute, his partner had to something happened with his partner, so he had to debate them both himself.
I was going to say that the skills you learn in debating are incredibly useful later on in life, because it's about presenting your ideas clearly.
Yes.
And doing a lot of research so that you can argue against yourself. I feel like debate sort of preps you for all the papers you have to write later in life.
Yeah.
In a way.
It does.
And that's a skill I wish I had.
It's the critical thinking, right? Because debate, it helps. One thing people hold on to their ideas, right? But debate opens you up to even having to argue against things you may not even believe in. I remember being in a debate round where they made us debate that Black history should be every month. And they put me on the side that argues that it shouldn't be. And the person had this smug look on his face, like, I got him, because I know he can't do this. But, you have to critically think and win the round. Even if you believe it or not, it teaches you how to get through things. And these kids, they want to grow up and be lawyers. They want to grow up and be professionals and public speakers or teachers or senators. This is the skill you have to have for that.
Well, and this actually has been a very heavy Boomtown themed podcast even so far, because didn't Onika win a Boomtown award?
Yes,
she did.
For Fulton Books.
I mean, the bookstore won an award.
And FC Tulsa also won an award for best organization.
Exactly.
I feel like Type Pros should be sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, Type Pros. Maybe let someone else be a host in the future. Doesn't have to be Brandon every time. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's fired.
Just kidding. He's got a baby coming on. He's gonna be busy. Anyway.
But can you talk about I'm curious about the soccer league, the FC Tulsa Dream Center Soccer League.
I've reached out to FC Tulsa. I started having conversations about last year about wanting to do something with soccer. I grew up playing soccer as a kid. My parents are from Nigeria. So, when I was born, my dad threw a ball at me. That was the first thing he did, just threw a ball to see what I would do. And soccer is everything, right? So I started playing soccer all my life in the beginning, but then as you get older, you realize you're like the only Black kid playing soccer. So I stopped because of the pressure, peer pressure, and just, I didn't see myself in the sport. I didn't see a lot of stars being Black at the time. So, I wanted to do football and basketball. So I'd end up doing those things. But I realized that was my first love. That was my true love. I was really, really good at it. My dad's still mad at me to this day because, I'm not playing in the World Cup, but I was really good at it, and I gave it up because of the pressure. So I said, I know the social and emotional things soccer did for me, as well as the health. It kept me active because soccer, you're running around, you're having fun, but you're running the whole game, right? It's one of those sports where you're moving all the time. So I knew that since I'm here in Tulsa and I have the opportunity to do things right now that I can do things, I'm not in California where I'm just too busy or couldn't afford it. I wanted to get soccer here in North Tulsa. And so I reached out to FC Tulsa, had some good conversations about other things they were doing, partnering with them. But then, I found out they felt the same way, and they already started discussions with people like Larry Harris and the Dream Center. And they said, come to this meeting where we're really going to plan this. So we bring all the heads together, everybody that's doing this already, because we don't want to recreate the wheel, but how can we make it stronger? We have people who are working with kids already and doing soccer, but let's make it a big thing. Let's get FC Tulsa involved. Let's get the community involved. So we have this meeting and we planned it out, and we are, me and Larry are going to be working on the specifics of it, but we have all the people who've been doing the great work like FC Tulsa, other groups that already have kids, and we're looking to have about 300 kids playing soccer next spring. FC Tulsa came and
awesome.
They gave away balls, they gave away equipment, and they had the kids. We painted fields, we painted the goalposts, we lined up. We had the guy who does the field at One Oak Field. He came and they did the field at the Dream Center. They made it, they lined it up specifically to the correct measurements, show the kids how to do it. And, because we want to keep the community doing these type of things. So they learn the skill of how to line a field as well as start, doing drills to learn soccer. And the FC Tulsa team came out and did some drills with the kids. They had so much fun and learning a little bit about soccer. And then again, like I said, we're looking to launch next spring with the actual league.
That's awesome. And it certainly seems like FC Tulsa, under the new ownership group and this group of players and coaches, are very focused on the community, which has been really cool to see.
From Mr. Farmer, Wayne Farmer, and even we met the owner, Mr. Kraft. He came out. Like you said, they're really, and Lucy is the one I started talking to. So everybody involved in the team, whether they're doing marketing, whether they're doing community, or whether they're the general manager to the coach, they all are committed to it. And I met all of them, and they've been great to me. Dylan, Wayne, they've all been just awesome people to get to know.
So you were in the original Tulsa Remote cohort.
Yes.
And you moved here from California. What job did you have when you moved here? Because you're obviously not doing that job now, because you work at a place whose name we will not mention until they sponsor this podcast.
Oh my goodness. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I was working for a company that we did business to business marketing, publishing, you name it, right? We worked with IT, people in the IT, software engineering, in the tech world. We did all those things for them. I used to be a manager over the team that facilitated their webinars, some of their lead generation, and everything that had to do with just marketing and developing their business, and working with, like I said, companies all over the world on just software engineers, developers, IT people, cybersecurity. So I was just managing that team and doing that, but got to Tulsa and got to working in the things that I really love, and found a great job that does both at Hoberton. I'm saying their name because that's where I'm at now. I found them through doing community work.
You're allowed to say their name.
Yes, I will. I'm definitely going to talk about them because they do amazing things, and I was able to find a job that aligns with my passion. So that's what I do now. I work with bringing people, instead of working with people who are already IT and software engineers. Now we're creating the next force of software engineers from people who never typically have a chance. So that's what we do here at Hoberton, and that's what I'm proud to be doing here in Tulsa.
How long after you moved here did you switch jobs or leave the job you had?
Almost a year. I got here. So I got here in March of 2019. I started talking to Tulsa Remote in 2018, right? Very early, one of the first people. And we started a new cohort here for Hoberton. We opened our doors in January of this year. So it was almost a year about that I switched over.
How long were you in the cohort before you sort of started to think, you know what, I could stay here. I like what, the opportunities here in Tulsa. I want to stick around. I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I would say after about a couple of months, my wife was just so happy. And I looked at her and I was just like, I'm never taking her away from this type of happiness and this type of feeling, because we were stressed out before we left in California. We love California for the family that she has there, that we have there. I don't want to talk bad about California like it's a horrible place to live, but I didn't see my wife this happy living her dreams, because she's fulfilling her dreams now. She has her own business working, she has her own food business. And so when I saw her just happy to be living her dream and just exhaling and not having to stress, I knew I wasn't going to leave. I knew we were staying.
And what is the name of that food truck?
So it's the name of the business is
The food entity.
Yes, Curds and Whey Gourmet. And she does all kind of things from catering, charcuterie boards to small bites. And yes, we are looking into getting a food truck. We rented one and we tried it out because she's part of the Kitchen 66 program, so a Mother Road Market. So, she does pop-ups there, and she did a pop-up on the food truck because that's one of the end goals, hopefully. So that's something that she just recently did, and it was fairly successful. So she's just amazing. She's talented. She makes it look good and tastes good. So I'm just happy to help her grow in that, whatever she needs.
I know for a fact you are used by not used. You're an example that Tulsa Remote brings about like what's the benefits of a program like this? Like why are they paying people to move here who might leave after a year? And they're like, look at him, right? Because you embrace what Tulsa allows people to do that bigger cities don't, which is find a job they love and still have the time and energy to go engage in the community and work on things that they care about outside of their day job. And I know I bring you up all the time in the Tulsa Remote interviews I do, because they're like, well, what happens after the year? I'm like, well, let me tell you. But I want to talk about we should bring up the grandparent of this podcast, Leadership Tulsa, because you were also in their New Voices program.
Yeah.
And do you want, can you tell our audience what that program is?
So I was in Leadership Tulsa's New Voices 11 program. So we are one of those groups that it's leadership development through the diverse eye. We are placed on boards, on nonprofit boards, or even some for-profit boards to make sure. So, people say they want diversity, right? So they give them us, as essentially as an internship for a year to be on their board. So I was fortunate enough to be on CAP Tulsa's board. And Marcia and Wendy do a great job of just preparing us for what that looks like. And we learn a lot about ourselves. That was one of the best leadership trainings I've ever been in my life. It really opened, once they kind of like broke you down, and Jesse, you guys know from just being in those programs, and they teach you what your communication style is, or from everything that they reveal to you that you are. It really opened up my eyes to where my true skills and talents are, and to be unapologetic about it and just go full force in that. So once I was able to do that, I think that's really what helped me become, a successful and engaging with the community here in Tulsa, because I know what we can harness the skills that I have into one thing now and just go full force with that. And that's what I've been doing.
What would you tell people? I mean, one of the goals of this podcast was to help raise awareness about all of the sort of good work that is being done. And for people who maybe were like, I've always wanted to help with that, get involved. So to those people who may or may not be listeners, like, how did you, when you first got here, other than like what Tulsa Remote showed you, how did you figure out, okay, these are the things I like, these are organizations that are doing it, or the organizations that are doing it don't exist yet, I'm going to help found them? What gave you that sort of freedom? And after working all day, you're like, I'm going to go do these things. Like, what would you tell people who want to help you in some of these things to do? Like, how to take that first step?
The first step is knowing that don't come to this town. Tulsa's different. Don't come in thinking you're God's gift to Tulsa, right? That's what some people do. And it's really, I know this sounds cliche. I know it's like, yeah. To me, I felt like Tulsa was God's gift to me because I went through a lot of things in my life where I'm able to now enjoy my life doing things I love. So I don't feel like I'm God's gift to Tulsa. I'm this new guy that is going to come save Tulsa. That's not what it's about, right? The reason I've been able to engage fairly quickly is because of the people that I've met, because Tulsans here, a lot of the good ones pass you along to the next person. So I first started talking to people like Kojo, talking to Nate Morris and Greg and, all those, and they will pass me to, I told people I came here, I said, listen, I want to work with kids. I want to do things in the theater. I want to work with nonprofits. It's not hard in Tulsa. That's not hard to get connected quickly. If you talk to people and listen to what they say and stay in your lane of I show them first, I'm a worker first. That's what I am. I work. I didn't come here to just, to get attention or just tell everybody what to do. I wanted to work. And I think they trusted, once they saw me working 6:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, coming, reading to kids in Greenwood Leadership Academy, doing the village, or showing up on the weekend to help volunteer for anything, even if it's an event. If I needed me to MC it or if they needed me to carry chairs, I would do it. And So anybody who's coming here who wants to get involved, just be a worker first. Show that you are able to be trustworthy, because this is a town where they need that trust. They need that trust. They need to know they can trust you first. And once they do, they will quickly pass you on to everybody and let you know where to go. Even people in the same, that's one thing that fascinates me about Tulsa. A lot of people, there's a lot of nonprofits that do the same thing, right? Or you can come in and say, hey, I want to plant trees, right? They will get you together with everybody that does the planting of the trees in town. And it's not any big competition. It's like, hey, we could use you here. We could use you there. Or have you went to this person? Even though they could be considered a competitor, right? They'll still tell you about it. And that's what I love about it. And so nobody holds back, and if they do, you quickly learn how to maneuver through that. But yeah, it's the reason I've been successful is because of the people here. They know what's going on. They know what to do. And so they just gave me the tools to do it.
So speaking of some of the groups you've been involved in, I'm curious to hear more about 100 Black Men. I know it's a group that not a lot of people in Tulsa know about.
Yeah, but they should. They're doing stuff already that if you
white people.
If you listen, if you don't know about them, you've seen their work. I'll say that. So David Harris, when I got here, is one person again that I met right off the bat, took me under his wing, and said, hey, I'll put you to work. You said, okay, you want to work with kids? I'll put you to work. I have a group that does that. So 100 Black Men is an organization. It's a national organization. And so I'm a part of the Tulsa chapter, and they do things of mentorship. They do, you name it, anything you could think of. They work with community work. They work with the kids a lot. They do, even right now, I know Keith has been posting things about the agriculture things, initiatives they've been involved with, the grants. So they work with all of those things in the community, keeping the community healthy, educated, and mentoring our kids. So that's what 100 Black Men does, and they're very active in Tulsa. Larry Harris, again, I've said his name with the Dream Center. He's a part of it. Senator Matthews comes in and helps out a lot too. He's a part of it. Like I said, David Harris, Keith Miller. There's a bunch of people in town that you already know about, or things, initiatives they've done. They're doing an internship program right now. We are doing, I should say, internship program right now that's been very successful. So just really honored to be a part of 100 Black Men. And I urge anybody to join in or help in any way they can. You don't have to be a Black man to look into what we are doing and to help with that. But we are unapologetically 100 Black Men, and we're proud to be in that organization.
This entire interview is going to be us asking you about things you're already doing and you explaining it to us. But tell me about the Show Me Your Shoes Foundation and like what it does, how we can help. We know people who are very obsessed with shoes. So
no, it's called the Show Me Shoes Foundation. One of my good friends from college, she actually started this nonprofit organization. It's 11 years now. I think we just had the 10-year anniversary. Sorry, 11 years ago. Siobhan, she started this, and it's something I've always watched her grow in, and very been proud of her. She had chapters in Kansas City, San Diego, LA, Jacksonville, Florida. She was, blowing up, and they do a lot of work for young women. So they have mentorship programs for women, young women. They believe in building confidence, they say, from the soul up. So that's where Show Me Shoes came from. They started doing shoe drives, and then it built into Teen Masterclass, Moguls and Heels, as well as the Prom Project. That's one of their big flagship programs, the Prom Project, where it's a great program where they give girls dresses for the prom, but they don't make it just like, here's a used dress. They get it quality. They have a big event, red carpet. They have designers. They have photographers, makeup artists, and they're also teaching them different things along the way. But it's really a nice event that anybody can come to. So as soon as I got to Tulsa and I saw the landscape of Tulsa, and I knew that this place had a lot of successful Black women, women of color who are already moguls and heels, right? And the entrepreneur spirit is really high with women. I knew that they needed a chapter here. So I told them, hey, I'm in Tulsa. I did a presentation for them. I said, you guys should start a chapter here, and here's why. If you need my help connecting to people or getting it started, I can definitely help you. And they said, yeah, but we want you to start the chapter. I said, well, I'm a man. I know my place. I don't want to, be the one to, do this chapter if, this is not. They said, you know what? You can do it. And we started a chapter here in Tulsa, and we started doing the Prom Project, and I have 200 dresses in my closet because everything got shut down for the prom with COVID, as you know. But so we are pivoting. The organization has been doing a lot, but now we are pivoting. So Yeah, it's a national organization still, but now I am on the board of directors. So they have a lot of good things in the works right now. They've been very successful. They've been winning awards everywhere in Atlanta, like I said, Kansas City. So I'm just fortunate to be on the board of directors now, and we're gonna repivot to some other things that we're doing. But we're still, like I said, we're still gonna do those things. Team Masterclass and Moguls and Heels here in Tulsa. We're still gonna do those things, but we just had to take a pause.
You seem to be an example, like the sort of perfect example of a person who really engages with a new community that they join and who wants to do all these things. And Chris and I are both from here. I moved away for a while and moved back, and I understand the sense of like, new things. Like, I'm an adult now. I've got time to help. We're still in the pandemic. This is our first recording post-election, and
Yeah.
post the election being called. So we sound happier because we are. But like, what with all these things you're involved with your day job at Holborn, with the debate classic at FC Tulsa, what has it been like during this pandemic to do all these things where you would normally be in person?
Yeah.
Like, how have you helped these organizations adjust? How have you yourself adjusted, other than having 200 dresses in your closet?
Yeah. Honestly, I'll say first, I'll start with this. It's been for me, the hardest part is not seeing the kids. That's what give me life. That's what, even when I was having a tough day or I was tired, right? Meeting after meeting, and I'll go see the kids, and it made it all worth it. So not seeing them in person and feeding off their energy and their innocence, right? And just knowing that whatever I'm teaching them that day, or it could be a life lesson, is what I go home with. And that's what I used to go to sleep with when I was exhausted. But was that the fact that, these kids were learning lessons and bettering themselves. So I think that's been the toughest part. But also what's been good in the sense of how I've been helping organizations is I was a remote worker for years before this is a thing now, right? So where everybody else is trying to get used to it, I've been doing that, right? So I've been lending my expertise in even these Zoom meetings, or what it is to have these online calls, conferences, meeting, what it looks like, best practices for that. I think people have been leaning to me a lot for those type of things because I was doing it since 2012. I've been working on remote. So I was able to just jump in and help people adjust. It's something that I had to jump right back into. So I didn't miss a beat or a step in that. But it was hard not being around the people. But I think I've learned how I'm going to, whenever things open back up gradually, I think I am going to take more meetings virtually. I don't have to show up to everything every day. I think that's a waste of our resources and time. I think I'm finding better ways. And I think now that people have adjusted to meeting virtually, I think we can still get a lot of work done virtually. And I think that's going to give me more time to do more things because I have a lot of things I'm in brewing already.
Well, we talked a lot about how you're dealing with it more, we'll say, from a work standpoint. How are you feeling personally? That's something we always ask people since this has been a year. This year's been the longest decade of our lives. So how are you just personally dealing with everything?
I mean, the same thing everybody says. It's been a lot, right? I mean, all my answers are nothing that's unique to me. I mean, I've lost people. I'm not the only one who's lost people, but I've lost people. I lost one of my closest friends, and that really broke me, for a while, because he's somebody who, right until he called and told me, he had COVID and, he died from complications from COVID-19. He was just telling me how proud he was of me and my wife, and every day just calling, motivating us. And sometimes he's talking about the same thing, and it's like, he's talking about how proud he is of me. I'm like, okay, I get it, but I took it for granted because, I got used to it, and we talked every day, and he always thought he was going to be here, right? But he's gone so quick, and that's what the year has been like. That was my ultimate. It's more than just it's been a bad year. This has been one of the most devastating years of my life. But with that, I would say he was somebody who did a lot of the same things I'm doing. So him passing and him motivating me is giving me more motivation to just to not let 2020 defeat me. There's a lot of great things that came out of 2020, and I don't want to only talk about the despair, right? A lot of great things that come out of 2020, a lot of new way of thinking, a lot of new initiatives, people their eyes are opening to some of the needs that people have. So I want to take that and go forward into the next year. and to just be motivated and to help motivate people and give people chances. Because my whole thing is giving people options that they never had before. That's what drives me. I don't care about anything else except for people being able to do and live their dreams without being told they have to be something, right? Or they can't be something. So that's going to continue to motivate me, COVID or not, being inside the house or not. There's still things we can learn, things that people can access. Kids can access, adults can access, no matter what. So I'm not going to let 2020 defeat me. I'm going to take from it and continue to grow with it.
Definitely one of the best answers we've heard on that one. Because I mean, again, like as happy as we may be about the political situation as of today, this year's been hard for a lot of people, and we've had to do it alone most of the time, other than like via webcams. Which again, webcams not the best way to see other people necessarily.
No. And Jesse, I want to say real quick, a lot of times I'm quiet about politics, right? I'm not the guy who's going to be posting a lot about it because the world that I'm in, I'm working with, a lot of times I disappear into the kids, right, into the youth. And right now the kids, they are aware of what's going on. They need to be aware, but they don't get to vote right now. They don't even have internet, a lot of them. So I want to work on that. I want to work on telling them, what do you want to be? You play video games? Why don't you become a game developer? I don't have time to argue with them about who's president, who's not, right? Again, it is important. They need to know about all these things, and they do know it. But I'm really busy working on this next generation and making sure that they're not being pigeonholed into one thing and not having access to all these things, right? A lot of times they use, as I call it, trauma porn to hold people down to only think about when they think about Black people or they think about Latinx or anything, they think of despair. I hate on TV when they say, "What have you done for Black people?" And the first answer they say is, "Oh, look at what we've done with prison reform. Look at what we did." Like that's the only thing that we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, when they hear that, they think that that's what they're supposed to be. As long as I stay out of prison, I'm a good Black person, and I just hate that. I don't want to get caught up in the politics, right? I just want to be able to give the kids the tools to become whatever they want to be. If that means becoming a senator, if that means becoming the president, vice president, then let's do it. You look at Kojo, you look at Greg, you see the examples, right? I don't want to just argue about what's going on at the White House. I want you to get blind to what just happened here in Oklahoma. A Black man had all those votes to be in Congress. He didn't win yet, but he had over 100,000 votes. Look at that and be inspired by that and be encouraged by that. Don't get blind by things that, are really trivial and very petty right now. I want you to just shoot for the stars. So a lot of times I'm not the guy who's going to be arguing about politics a lot. But again, I am an Africana Studies, Black Studies minor in college, so I'm really vocal. I've been protesting and doing all these things, but I've learned also that you got to keep the work going. You can't get distracted by people trying to take you there, right? Wanting to fight you and wanting to do all these things. I don't have time. I just don't.
I mean, it sounds like part of it is you want to give them the tools so that, understanding that politics is important, but give them the tools so that it doesn't have the kind of control that it can, right?
Yeah.
So that who's in the White House doesn't affect them as much if they have the tools to empower themselves.
These kids, they grew. When I was 6, I always tell people, when I was 6 years old, my president wasn't Black. They grew up with a Black president. They have things they need to prepare for. Yes, the world that we want it to be is not there yet, but the people who are going to make it that, we need to arm them with all the skills they need to continue that fight. I may not see it, I may be older when it finally happens, if it happens, but we cannot tell them that the only way to better Black people is to lessen prison reform. That's great, right? Because of the things that led to that, the systemic things that led to that. But I need to make sure that these kids feel like when they're going to an interview to become a software engineer or work in Silicon Valley, that they weren't a good culture fit isn't a reason that they don't get hired. Because why are they not a good culture fit? Because of the system, right? I need them to go in there and blow them out the water and get rid of all these stupid biases that we see in every industry, right? So that's where I'm focused on, knocking those walls down where it doesn't matter because the system is getting destroyed. Instead of living in a system that's horrible and arguing about it and me being in so much despair about the system, let's recruit the next people to go and destroy that system. So it's really about that for me.
So Giving Tuesday is coming up soon, And for people who don't know, Giving Tuesday is a day where nonprofits try to do what they're trying to do the rest of the year, which is raise funds. But it's a day focused on that, and we wanted to give you time to talk about the organization you are helping to raise funds for, since apparently that's something we are good at now. Shout out to the Tulsa Voter Ban.
Yeah. Yes, if you can, I really appreciate you giving me a chance to talk about the Tulsa Debate League. That's one of the things everybody sees, one of the things they see me doing. And again, Justin Daniels has been doing a great job. Ross is the he's the head guy, executive director over the Tulsa Debate League. So Ross, Justin, I've had many meetings with them about doing some more for Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is something that happens nationwide. On December 1st for nonprofits. It's a day of donations and giving. You can donate before then, but up to December 1st is when we're doing a big, kickoff. So you'll see things all over the country happening for Giving Tuesday. And the Tulsa Debate League, we are going to have a live event that day, just kind of like a fundraising drive, but showcase some of our students and showcase some of our staff, but I won't give all the secrets we're going to do, but it's going to be a nice thing. But this money goes, and you can donate to Tulsa Debate League. I want to say that anytime. And I've seen the fruits of the labor. I've seen what it does. It goes into the development of our future kids all over Tulsa. We have over like 30 schools we deal with. I know I work a lot with North Tulsa Debate League, but debate sector of it, but now that I'm development manager for like everything, there's schools everywhere, and all of these kids need our support. So these tournaments they're not easy to run, even in person and in virtually, they're not easy to run. We're always looking for judges. We're always looking for the resources. So Tulsa Debate League, we have great partnerships, but we can always use the donation of not just your money, of your time. We're asking for that as well on Giving Tuesday. We need judges to come in and judge the kids. Debate is set up for lay judges, we call them, to come in, and it's actually better that way sometimes. Somebody who's not a debater or who doesn't have experience come in and listen to the arguments and say, hey, this team swayed me, right? So we're asking not only for, we're going to raise, our goal is $5,000, and we're actually still looking for a company or an organization to match us. So if you're listening, please match us if you want, up to $5,000, or if you want to make the whole donation too, that's great too. We'll take as much as we can, but just know that it's going to the development of kids. I know I used to get up 6 o'clock in the morning, get to the school to get on the bus with kids, and we go pick up the other kids, and we get to the tournament. We had breakfast. We went to different rooms and we debated. We have medals. We give out speaker awards. It's a long, hectic day that needs continuous funding and volunteers. So we're not just asking for money that day. We're asking for volunteers to come in, just go to one tournament, maybe just spend your Friday or spend a Saturday with the kids and be amazed. And everybody that I've had judge come in and judge have told me thank you. They loved it. It's really life changing to see kids who are, not from 9 years old all the way to 18, talking about real things, debating school to prison pipelines. We were talking about in-school suspension versus out-of-school suspension, and kids are talking about prison to, school to prison pipelines. And these are elementary school kids. They're telling you facts like, did you know that black girls are 6 times likely to be suspended more than white girls? And they're in the debate round yelling out like, is that fair? Do you think that's fair? You're sitting back like, wow. So we want to keep that going. We are going to keep going, but we want the support. We need your support. So please donate to Tulsa Debate League. You can find us on Facebook. You can just hashtag Giving Tuesday 2020 or just Giving Tuesday and find us here at Tulsa. We're registered on the national website, so you can go to Giving Tuesday. But really, just go to Tulsa Debate League on Facebook. You will find you'll start seeing things now about the Giving Tuesday, but you can also see how to donate to Tulsa Debate or volunteer to be a judge year round. Because right now, you got to think how important it is that we are developing kids through virtual learning, which has been hard for everybody, right? It's been hard for people in the schools, teachers, students. So we're just an extra ally that's helping with that in that fight, because we're doing our tournaments right now virtually. We had a virtual summer camp we did, and it was fairly successful. We had kids doing that. So we want to help you in any way we can. If you're struggling with that, if you need creative ways, or you just need that resource to help you with this virtual learning, reach out to us. But we're definitely doing that, and we aim to get back in person, when it's safe. But we really care about these young students, so we're doing everything we can to facilitate that in a safe way. But right now we're doing it virtually, so we just need help. We just need your support and your money. So continue to do that if you can. Tulsa Debate League.
And I'm going to piggyback on there and call out 3 of our friends who enjoyed debate through high school and got a lot from them. Hopper, Sutton, Flippo. You should all help out to judge or donate or both. But you want to get back into debate. You want to.
Yeah. And I already volunteered to be a judge. I'm happy to be a judge. Just let me know when and where, and I will be there.
Awesome.
Because there's nothing more satisfying than choosing who is right and wrong in an argument for me. So it's my calling.
And then you get to tell the kids why. They always tell the judges, yes, be honest.
Yeah.
I want them to learn. I don't want it to come in, oh, you guys are so cute. No, I need you to learn. I need them to learn, and I'm glad, Ross, like I said, Ross Faith is his name, and Justin have allowed me to just be a part of their world because they've been doing this for years. I'm not the one who started this, right? But they've been doing this for years, and they listen to me and they're able to work with me. But I definitely, Chris, I want to see a judge named Flippo. Because I want to hear the kids on the bus tell me like, well, Flippo told me that I was good. I want to hear that. I want them to go through a judge named Flippo, please.
I want that too.
Yeah. We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to or not, we're going to make it happen.
Listen, I'm going to warn you, he's going to be late. So that's really a joke for one person. But he'll listen to this 6 months from now, so it won't even matter. But
yeah.
Don't worry. We'll tell him that
we'll be
he was
there.
and he'll listen immediately.
Hey, we're here in the spring and summer.
There you go.
Yeah. So the link to the Facebook page and the website and the donation page, I'll put in the show notes for sure. Because again, like I watched one of the videos you posted on the internet from the last debate league thing that you did virtually, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's fun, right?
And it's a great way to teach students the skills they're going to need later in a sort of very fun, interactive way. And it's I always look so goofy on those things. I'm always smiling so much because I'm so like happy. Especially when the kids are doing the cross examination. That's my favorite part of the debates. It's because a lot of times they're reading cases and evidence, but when they get to ask each other questions that they have to just critically think of, I love that. So I'm always cheesing and nodding my head or making like ooh, like I always look so cheesy on those debates. But it's because, and you will too. Once you're in the room or virtually listening, you're going to be smiling and just in awe the whole time. It's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I'm in for judging as well. In fact, I want to be a competing judge with Jesse so I can pick a different person.
There you go. We can do that. We can make it happen.
That's fair.
I was going to say, I put the call out to parents too. If debate is not at your school, reach out to us. If debate is not at your school, reach out to us. If it is at your school and you need to find out how to get connected, reach out to us because I get a lot of that question all the time. My kid wants to debate, but he doesn't have it at his school. I will get that for you. We'll find a way.
That's great. I mean, your enthusiasm for all of these things is just very, I don't know,
infectious.
Yeah, it's infectious. Thank you, Chris.
Sorry, that's not a good term to use these days.
You're doing all these things, right? But I know there are times when you are not doing these things,
yes,
and maybe you're trying to relax or enjoy yourself. So, what are you doing during this pandemic to just wind down? Like, what's what we've been calling a sort of pop culture comfort food? Or just regular comfort food?
Comfort food. Let me see. That's a good question because I thought you were going to ask me, like, what am I doing, like, in my spare time, my hobbies? Like, I don't have any cool answers anymore because I'm getting older now. Like, I try to play video games. I've been playing the same game for, like, I have, like, 80 games. I've been playing the same one for, like, years.
I got to know, what's the game that you've been playing years now?
It's nothing cool. I'm not going to lie and say, like, NBA 2K because I'm good at that. I love it, and I can't play these RPG games. My wife is better at that than me. I've been playing NHL 2019 since 2019. So, and they're on 2021. Right. I just like it. I like NHL 2019. I know I just lost a lot of points, but that's my game.
Listen, you play what you love.
It's Mario Kart and football games for me at this point.
Yeah.
So,
it's crazy.
Like I'm still good at those two things.
My wife is the one who's like great at Call of Duty and like Far Cry and all these games. I'm watching the game through her and just Red Dead Redemption, all those games. I'm watching her play and just like my chin's, my fist under my chin, like keep playing. I want to see the cutaway scenes. Like I'm terrible at them, but she's just awesome at it.
Sounds like you need to have a YouTube video of you watching her play games.
Yes, I want to see this.
I'd love that.
Because I'm like her, I'm the best coach for her.
Why isn't this a Twitch stream already?
Yeah. Like, we make a good team because I'm like I strategize with her. Like, you should call up the helicopter right now. Like, things I say work, but I can't shoot for nothing. I can't aim. I'm terrible. So I just lived through her. Like I'm best at the strategy. I'm great at that. But execution, horrible.
Well, you and I talked about this. We just, in those games, were either shooting the ceiling or the floor.
Yeah.
And just like running into things.
And then the kids, I tried to play at was that Fortnite?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. The kids started bullying me. It was just hard.
They're going so fast. Like, how are they doing those things that quickly?
I have no idea.
Kids. Anyway. Well, Obum, thank you so much. This has been
appreciate you guys.
Incredibly both insightful and energizing. And I'm sorry we took you away from all the amazing things you do for an hour to come talk to us. But I hope that our listeners will support the Tulsa Debate League and and volunteer, because again, giving money is easy, volunteering is hard.
I also want to leave with this too. I know we joked about it, but I also, because I don't just work with kids, I work with everybody of all ages, and I do want people to look into Hobarton. Go to HobartonSchool.com, because the things we're doing right now are amazing. We need people all over, not just Tulsa, but anywhere. And tell your loved ones, you can become a software engineer in 2 years without experience, and Hobarton can help you do that. We're trying to erase that bias that there is in software engineering. So I know that's my day job, but it's something I believe in, and I really want people to go look that up, please, because that's when I see people, like right now we just had our first cohort in 9, and they're done with foundations already. They're ready, finished with their foundations, and they're about to specialize now, but they're ready to go in the workforce already. So I'm just proud of them. I want to continue to have that feeling. So this is just me selfishly wanting more people to join, so I can continue to have that great feeling, and seeing people of all ages, races, colors, sexes, being software engineers. So please look up HobartonSchool.com, and or come find me. I'll talk to you about it.
Obum, thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you all for listening to our conversation with Obum. I hope you enjoyed it as much as Chris and I seem to, and hopefully Obum did as well. Please subscribe to Pod for Good anywhere you can get podcasts. Please like us on Facebook. And also, just a reminder, I don't just host podcasts. My company, Rant 9 Productions, also produces them. So if you work for a place that's thinking about making a podcast, please reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help. And for now, what has become the normal closing for a Pod for Good episode, not only do I tell you, listeners, to get it done, I also have to remind you, again and again, wear a mask.